Welcome back, people. On this episode we're going to have a look at this back tailgate. It's got some holes like you wouldn't believe. Let's come and have a look. Check it out. I just put it through the sandblaster, and yeah, so we've got a little bit of repairs to do there. I've already just welded up that little crack that was on the side and on the other side as well. Obviously still have to flap it back, but at least that's solid now. So yeah, this is going to be problematic because, as you know, when it starts to get this thin, it's really hard to weld to. But what I'm going to do is just try and chop it all out in one piece and see if we can just weld a new piece. We might just sort of chop it here, and I know the edge here is actually quite strong and it's easy to flap back on a radius, so we might even just cut it along the side like that. Let's see how we go with this. I mean, you know, there is ways, there is dodgy ways to repair this. You know, you can get fiberglass fiber fill and just fill it and put some bog over it and call it good, but no, we don't want to do that sort of stuff around here. We'll do a proper job, eh? So anyway, we're going to start off just with this section here, and then once we've got that in, then we can cut the next section, which is going to be the bottom piece here. You can see in there, that's going to be a little bit hard to fix as well. But you know, we could get another door, but then we're going to lose the patina on the other side of it, so let's just repair it. So you can see here, it's not, the front side's actually in pretty good nick. It's not too bad at all. So we'll just put some rust converter inside here, and we might just slosh it around, and then we can cut out our new piece and get it welded in. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, let's get some rust converter in there. Righto, so here we go. There's the little piece that I chopped out from that piece down on the ground, and that's going to go in just like so. I don't know if we get it nice and level, and yeah, let's get this sucker welded in, and then we can move on to the next part. There we go. So nicely welded this piece in. I've got a couple of little holes still to fill. We'll flap that back with the flap disc and fill in the final bits and pieces, and then yeah, we can call it good. Oh, one more little spot there. Yeah, another little area there. That one might be a little bit easier to tackle. Yeah, running good. Let's keep going. Okay, so that one is done diddly done. So the update is we've got the tailgate pretty much repaired. Just put a couple of fillers in a couple of the spots that needed it, and put a little bit of rust converter on it, but that's ready to go. We're going to, I've just been doing a little bit of work on this just to try and get some of the highs and lows. A couple of circles here with L low, and we're just going to, on those areas, just put a tiny bit of filler on them, and then we can start to get this thing in some colour. Actually, probably after that we'll do the roof. Yeah, we'll get onto the roof and get that sorted out. Let's keep going. We'll get some filler on. Righto, so let's just have a little bit of look at this. You know, people saying, oh, why don't you use a block to block this back? I've been using that Viber for close to 30 years. That's my main sander I use on surfboards, and I know it like the back of my hand, and I can get things flat with that. I know I don't need blocks all the time, but basically keep it flat. You can see anytime you see this dark colouring of the bog or the Bondo, that means it's a low spot. So I already know, I've gone over these areas and I already know that these spots are never going to get there, so they have to have more filler. And you can see there a little bit of a gap, same spot right there, a big one there, a big one there. So that's telling me that that spot there and that spot there is super low. So there's no point sanding anymore because the rest of this has been feathered beautiful. So that's level, everything else there is level. So I just leave it, and now I'll come back over with a grey lead, mark all these spots, go over it one more time with some filler, and it's done. Same deal again. This nice little dark shadowed area there, low. And you can run your hand over it. People will go like this with their fingers. It's like, that won't work. You need to use the palm, this part here, down here, and a completely flat hand. And you go back and forth, and you don't even have to look at the panel. You can feel if it's low or not. And that's critical, using your hands to go back over it. If you want something absolutely dead smooth, I mean, obviously for this whole side of the bus, we're not looking for perfection. We just want to get it close. And realistically, I probably could just chuck some primer on this now and call it good, but I am going to go over these spots again because they are just that little bit too low. That's just a quick little way I do it. But 40 grit on that Viber, and I can just smash it out and get it pretty flat. So yeah, let's clean this all down again, and we'll apply the areas that need the second coat. So we're pretty much working on the passenger side. This is the first pass of filler, and you can see it's super thin. There's probably not even a millimetre on that. There's nothing. Again, using my hand, low spot right there, three low spots there. So we'll just go back over those. We've got that little part of the gutter there to just trim and fix and get that all nice. And same deal here, a couple of low spots. And then once we've done that, and I can just finish off doing the priming. Oh yeah, we've got this part down here to do too. So we've got to do a little bit of filler around those welded areas. And then paint stripper all the red off this. We've got to fix this vent here. It's got a couple of smashes, a couple of dints in there. We'll try and push those out from the other side. And then after that, we can tackle getting the remainder of this red colour. You can see the original blue. We can try and paint either paint stripper, or we might even just try and sand this off. We'll see what happens. But yeah, all the messy stuff now. Oh, and obviously we've got to paint the floor inside too. So there's still tons of work to do. You think it's close, but no, there's still a lot more to go. So let's apply a couple more coats of filler on this stuff and continue from there. Okay, here's the second lot applied. You can just see to those spots. pretty straightforward stuff. And same deal over there. Done. We'll just wait for those to dry. It is getting cold down here. We are on 15 degrees Celsius. We're coming into winter. Not happy about it. I'll be putting the diesel heater on soon. All right, guys, so check it out. I've gone back over it again with the primer and just done the highlights with this colour here, the red oxide, just because it's a bit closer to the factory primer that was underneath. So that's going to be our base coat, and obviously now we're going to go and start putting the blue on top of it. You can see the panels aren't perfect, but you know, this is what we wanted. We didn't want it to be absolutely crazy. There is a few, you know, little imperfections here and there you can see, but that's got to kind of marry in with the rest of what's going on. So definitely goes against, you know, any kind of normal panel beating work. But you can see the roof. We'll go up onto the roof. You can have a bit of a look there. So obviously that I've got to put a little bit more red oxide spray on top of it, but that'll blend it in really nice in terms of the repair. You can see there, she's pretty cool indeed. And again, you know, a few little bumps and lumps just there. I left those in on purpose. Didn't want to touch them. As bad as my OCD was telling me to make it smooth, I just had to say, that's enough, no more. So the next thing we're going to do now is let this all dry. And I want to clean up all the moss and crap off the front of that one there and on the rear, and try to get as much of the original blue back in those two quadrants as we can. And then we can start on the, I think what we'll do is start on the roof. So I'm just going to start spraying the blue on the roof and see how we go in terms of getting all this to look the same. And it's, you know, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I think this will be quite difficult to get this to look good. So it could be a fail. Don't know. You know, it's something I've never done before. I know all the surfboard years of doing repairs, you do try and colour match things and try and get things to look the same, but this is a big area and it's definitely not going to be easy. So yeah, let's see how we go. All right, continue. Another job is we got a donor cap, a fuel flap, courtesy of a mate, and of course now what we have to do is remove the remnants of the old one, which is that section right there. I've put some WD-40 on it and hit it with the heat gun as well, so hopefully we can crack these two nuts out. I think that's actually the part of the old flap that's been snapped off, so we can just remove that. This should just bolt straight on. We can give it a coat of primer and we're good to go. So let's see if we can get these things undone. No problem at all, they're loose. Done. And there we go. We can actually apply the new one. We might go and put a couple of coats of primer on this, and then that can go inside as well. Okay, a little bit of red oxide primer on the cap. We'll just let that flash off, and then we can install it. We'll worry about the blue paint later. One more thing I did on the tailgate, which I didn't film, was the latch for back here, and that thing was completely toast. I'll just give you a little look at it. That's it there. Now, this guy here it was completely seized, and what you can do with them is pull them apart. You can actually get inside them and re-grease them up and get them working again. This one's, you know, working perfectly, but it was completely seized when I pulled it out. What you do is you grind, there's 4 little rivets underneath here, and you just grind the heads off them. And then you can pull it apart, take the lid off, take a photo immediately so that you know where all the spring orientation and the little cam that's in the little lobe that's in there. But then you can just re-grease them, you know, I sandblasted the inside of it, re-grease it, and put it back together. Then what you do is clamp it back, just get your welder and just, you know, put a little spot on each one of the things and it'll seal it back together. I actually put a little bit of a weld in each corner just to stop these from bending out. But you can see, you know, it's saved, and I'm not going to go and buy an aftermarket one because this one has got, I don't know if you can read it just there, It's got bum written on it. Those cheeky Germans. All right, let's continue. Wacko, we got a fuel flap. There we go. So that'll get ready to be painted up in the blue, obviously. And we can put our little mechanism in. There you go, pretty cool. All right, on to the next job. What we have also done off camera was just screw in the Safaris now, so they open and close. This one needs a little bit of adjustment. You can see here it needs to, you can see that little bit of play there, just for the gap to be right. Once we put the glass in, we can get that all sorted. Same with this one. It's very odd that this thing had factory Safaris. Being a panel van, you know, obviously it must have been special ordered, because I don't think they ever really came with Safaris. But yeah, that was definitely quite a surprise, and I'm glad we actually saved them because they were pretty rotten. But with, you know, welded new piano hinge in the top there, we were able to get the right hinge so it looks like the original stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's one more beat done. We're going to start sanding these guys soon, and I reckon that might be it for me. I'm going to go and get a coffee, and I will see you in the next episode with my Kramer hair. Hey, Jerry. I'll see you in the new one. Woo!